go back and watch and dissect some more information because we are bringing a lot. Okay, it's going to be intense and it's okay if you feel overwhelmed. The point is to suck up as much as you possibly can and take the action that we're going to give you guys every day. So, hey, hello, how are you all? Hopefully you can get on camera. I know sometimes it's hard. Some of us are in our PJs. It's okay. I don't care. Come as you are. I'd love to see your beautiful faces. It gives me energy when I get to see you. So hello to all of you. I'm just gonna finish this last sip of coffee. I ran out of my cold brew and now I'm drinking hot coffee again. Honestly, it's cold now. But I was like, oh no, I need my cold brew today because it definitely is a little more caffeinating than an espresso shot. So holy crap, people are joining. Give me just a second. I'm trying to get everybody in here. All right, that was the last drop. That's it. I'm as caffeinated as I'm gonna be. All right, so while we're waiting just for a couple more people to trickle in, let us know in the chat where you are tuning in from. I'd love to know where you guys are located. It also helps a lot knowing that, you know, where you're at so that we can have some chats about the different parts of the country that you're in and the different markets that you're in. I think that's super important. So let us know where you're tuning in from and say hello. For those of you here as well, do not forget, we are now in a group of a bunch of insurance professionals. There are people that are close to you. There are people that work in states that maybe you don't work in. It's a great time to network. You can absolutely message each other privately. If there's things you're going through that are similar, please don't be afraid to reach out to each other. It's really important that you are part of a community. You have people in your pocket. And that is 100% why we show up. This is why we've created the community we've created. This is why I'm always here. So I want to make sure that you feel comfortable to reach out to each other and make some friends, right? Like we, you know, with COVID and all the different things going on, we've kind of lost our ability, I think, a little bit to reach out and feel comfortable making friends and meeting new people. And it's so important that we don't feel like we have to do this alone. So I'm super, super excited that you're here. And give me just 1 second because I just lost something that I needed. Okay, give me 1 sec, guys. Keep letting us know in the chat where you're tuning in from. All right, I'm going to do my best to keep admitting people as they're coming in, but we're going to get started. Are you guys all excited? I hope you are. I am. I love doing these. I think they're the intimate setting that we need. I think that it's so important that we show up and do these things because we forget sometimes to work on our business, right? Let's see, I got a message about not being able to print the workbook. By the way, the workbook is now, as opposed to how it's been in the past, it is a digital fillable workbook, which means that if you have it open on PDF, you should be able to go in there and actually type in as we're working through some of these things. So if you can't print it for whatever reason, you should be able to be filling it out automatically into the actual workbook digitally. And then once you save it, you'll be able to keep track of, you know, whatever you were working on. Okay. So I have been so excited for this and I want to know in the chat, I need your guys' participation. I need your energy. Otherwise I feel like I'm just speaking to a camera. And then again, just reminding everyone that's joined, if you can have your cameras open, that gives me energy that I need. I want to see you guys if possible. So I appreciate all of you that are getting on camera. Let's see, I think everybody's mostly in here that's going to be here. If not, they're late. They're just going to have to wait for me to admit them in. I am clicking buttons as fast as I can, everyone. All right, so let us know in the chat how you're feeling. Are you excited? Like I said, nothing gets me more energized than showing up here and being able to have conversations with fellow people in our industry. Like I mentioned, it's really important. And what we're going to be doing in the next few days is I'm going to show you how you can take and make the ultimate shift from struggling to make money in your agency, feeling handcuffed, feeling stretched too thin, confused as what to do next, to make your agency as successful as possible. So we want to help you expand profits. We want you to help you free your time. And we're going to teach you the 4-part framework that we're going to be sharing, and what we use in our agency, what we've taught over 75 people in our program. And that way you can take these things and apply them into your agency, because it's really about designing an agency to work for you and you not just working for your agency. Okay. So some of the things I want to go over is a little bit of housekeeping stuff. We're only going to really talk about this today, so just keep this in mind. But I want you to be here. I want you to be present where your feet are. I want you to be able to dive into what's possible and prioritize your business. And I want to also thank you guys for being here. I know it's not easy to make a commitment like this when you're trying to run a business and you're maybe a parent and you have all these things you've got to do. Just for context, my daughter woke up this morning not feeling great. She is upstairs in her room, and I told her, unless she's on fire, do not walk in here. So I am also juggling all the things all the time. Okay. But you are here because you want more time, clarity, confidence, and money. So let me know in the chat. Let us all know, why did you sign up for this boot camp? What is it that made you click on that register link? What was it that got you excited to be here today? Yes, I love it. Need more time, freedom, get your life back. Need help, overwhelmed and exhausted, better use of your time. Awesome. Scaling up your business, working on your business, not just in it. Make some changes, get motivated, build up your new agency. Awesome. Okay, keep them coming, guys. I'm listening, I promise. Said goodbye to overwhelm. Love it. Agency, or your session at agency success. We need to streamline and make better use, new ideas, improved systems. Great. This is awesome, because this is exactly what we're going to be working on. Some automation. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Katrina. Your excitement, enthusiasm is contagious. I feel that. I can learn from that. Awesome. Better organization and handle. It's cutting off. Let's see. Handle extreme flow of a new client's better. Want to optimize, better expedite process, looking for ideas, streamline, create efficiency, and grow. Okay, amazing. Keep them coming. So here's what I need from you. I need you to be on live for every day that you possibly can. And I also, because being live will help us be able to keep track of the chat, see what's happening with everyone. We can give you that one-on-one attention and hopefully be able to do some consulting and strategizing while we're here. And you can really see in the chat and the participation from everybody, what everyone's going through, and maybe some ideas that they have that you can also take with you, right? And when you're here live, and this entire week, I want you to pretend that you paid $1,000 every hour of the boot camp to be here. Because even though it's free, right? And I still show up with all the free things, when you pay to be somewhere, you show up differently. So how would you show up if you knew you were paying $1,000 for this next hour? When you pay attention, and your business and your life are worth being here live and focused for. And if you take the action of the things we're going to be sharing through this week, you are going to see a difference in your business. You're going to see a difference in your lives just by showing up every day and doing this work with us. The third thing that I need from you is we're going to be giving you action work. This is the time that you're going to take after these calls to really put in some work. Right? This is where you learn, and this is where you start to implement and integrate some of the stuff that you're learning. I know how to work out. I know what I need to do at the gym. However, I pay for a trainer. And the reason I pay for a trainer is because I want accountability. I know there's a time that I need to show up. I know that there's somebody waiting for me to show up. I know that if I just show up and I kind of follow their instructions, I'm going to see results. But I've got to show up and I've got to lift the weights and I've got to do the work, right? Number 3 or 4, the biggest thing that I want you to also know is that we have amazing support here, not just from me, but also from our online business manager. If you've never met Felisa, she is here with us. Her camera should be on. Let me see. I can find her. There's a lot of you in here. Felisa, will you just raise your hand for me? Let me see if I can find you. So don't be afraid to direct message her if there's any questions. Okay. My camera's doing funky things. Oh, there she is. Okay. Let's see. Let me, man, there's more people joining. All right. So here's Felisa. Say hello. If you have any questions, Felisa is your girl. If I'm busy doing something or you need anything, you can absolutely message her. Do not be afraid to ask for help. That's what we're here for. Okay. All right. So the last thing is definitely get your workbook. If you have any issues getting your workbook, let us know. We will make sure you get that link. And remember that it is a fillable workbook now for you to be able to fill in and use. Okay, so if anybody has any issues, please let us know now. We want to make sure that you get that workbook for you. Cool. And finally, we do have a giveaway. The giveaway for this entire boot camp is a 90-minute consulting session with me, where I get to put my eyes on your business. We get to strategize and look at where you're at. For those of you that would love some one-on-one, it is a very expensive thing to get with me. It's not something that I do really anymore unless you are part of any of our programs, which we'll talk about in the upcoming days. But we are going to be giving away 90-minute strategy call with me. Now, in order to get yourself into the running to win this giveaway, you've got to do some of the action work and some of the things that we're going to be talking about. And I will explain to you as we go through exactly what you're going to be getting and how this works and how you participate. Okay. So let's move on and get started. Okay. Are you someone that can't get out of the whirlwind? Means that you need to be setting up processes and have an agency that runs itself consistently and smoothly to increase profits and create an ecosystem so that you can live a life that's fulfilled. And possibly you are someone who is creating a business with a life instead of a life with a business, not enough money and profit, handcuffed to your business, working too many hours, or resent your employees because maybe they're making more money than you are. I have been there, done that for sure. Okay. And you just really feel like you need consistency, processes, and better execution. Or maybe you're just chasing things that aren't really moving the needle and you're feeling lost between the battle of balancing sales and retention. We're going to be talking about that. You feel scared, you feel lost, stressed, anxious, pressured, and disappointed in yourself, maybe a little self-conscious about where you are and what you should be doing. Maybe you just started your business, or maybe you just feel inexperienced in business. Unfortunately, that happens to all of us at every stage, okay? But you're also ambitious, and right now you're just kind of a workaholic. And you don't have enough time, you're exhausted and organized, overwhelmed. And you guys can see in the chat, that's what a lot of people were talking about and saying. So if you're feeling that, you are not alone. I want you to know, and I want you to give yourself permission to show up and create the strategy and to figure out what the intention is. Okay. You should all know what your why is. You should know why it is that you get up every morning and do the things that you're doing. And really, there's a saying that says your why should make you cry. It should be something that you have an emotional connection to. It should be something that really motivates you no matter what. So I want you to let us know in the chat that you're committed to showing up, you're committed to building the thing. And let me know if you know what your why is. What are some of the reasons or the things that you want to accomplish and why it's so important for you to build a successful business? What does it mean if you are to do this? What does that look like? Olga says this sounds so much like me right now. Yeah, I totally understand. Okay, let us know in the chat, what's your why? And for those of you that saw me at Agency Success or maybe some other places where I was speaking on stage, I shared my why. And I'll tell you right now what it is I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, as much as I want, anywhere that I want, right? For me, it's about having options. For me, it's about having choices and the ability to afford freedom for me, my family, and also to be able to give that to my team as we continue to grow and scale. So some of it is building wealth for family, Why is legacy travel building something I'm going to be proud of, leaving a legacy? Let's see. I work with my daughter, so I need to figure out a way to balance. Okay. More time for myself. Yep. Create time, financial freedom, have the freedom to build my dream family and dream business. Lots of you want freedom. I love it. Strong agency for my family and myself to help the agents on my team to the path of freedom. I love it, Cece. That's great. Committed to showing up because I want my kids, especially my daughters, to know that women can do anything. Yes. And building a successful business is doable and attainable to have freedom and have things maybe you never had when you were growing up. Okay, I love it. Perfect. Okay, so your business needs to be designed to give you the life that you want. Most people are not focused on business foundations and tend to copy what everyone else is doing, right? To truly find success that you want, you need to create a designed-based business for your want to take massive action on the plan that you are creating. So I come and I show up and I argue that many business owners become trapped in their business. They're working way too many hours and struggling to keep up with the demands of their business. And that's when we get led to burnout or poor decision-making or the lack of focus on the strategies and goals in the business foundations that, oh, by the way, there's Marley, say hi. Business foundations that you really need to be focused on, right? We get pulled in a million directions and we get that squirrel syndrome, that shiny object syndrome, and we end up losing focus on what it is that we need to be actually doing. So for me to break out of this cycle, and the reason why I know so much about what you guys are kind of feeling is because I've been there, I was there. And sometimes when I start a new business, I am there. And I have to remind myself constantly that there is a framework, there is the foundations that every business needs to succeed. And so I learned this through struggle and error, ton of mistakes, tons of ambitious late nights, all the things. And I learned this and I practiced it. And now I teach it in Agency by Design in that framework to help business owners design their business to run themselves. So the main reason why you should adopt this framework and work on this is to achieve that entrepreneurial freedom, right? That's why we all started businesses. That's why we don't work a 9 to 5. We want that freedom and we want more control. And you want that freedom to pursue other interests and to spend time with your family and your friends and enjoy life outside of your business. So by streamlining operations and just delegating effectively, you can create a business that operates independently of you and allowing you to step back and focus on your own priorities. And if you create a business that can run itself, you can create a more valuable and attractive asset that can be sold or passed on to future generations. A lot of you talked about legacy. The more a business relies on its owner to operate, the less valuable it is. Okay. So as I was going through this process, I came up with a formula. That formula is intention plus strategy plus execution equals results. Basically means, one, you got to know why you're doing what you're doing. Okay. You got to know what result you're looking for. What is that North Star? Where are you going? Then as you know what your plan is and the direction you want to go and the results that you want to achieve, you can start reverse engineering that and create strategy. And execution, even though that seems like it's the hardest part, usually because you don't do the beginning two pieces of the equation, really is just about showing up and following the instructions that you created for yourself, right? And when you're able to use this formula over and over again for all the things that you're doing in your business and your life, I use this formula for everything. After we get off this call, I have a ton of things I got to get done and I have to execute on, right? But I need to understand why I'm doing this thing, what the steps are in the order that I want them to get done. And then I have to go do them. And that's what's going to bring me the results. So even as simple as a to-do list, what's your intention? What's the strategy you have at attacking that to-do list? And how are you going to take that action? Okay. So let's see. Sharon says, can someone share the formula? Felisa, can you put it in the chat? I'm not sure why Sharon can't see it. Okay. So with that said, that's how this all kind of started. I was doing things without intention. I was just holding on by the seat of my pants, doing everything that I thought I could, but I really wasn't tapping into what it was that I wanted, why I wanted to do it, what was really important to me, and not really designing my business for me. And so once I figured out that intention piece, everything else kind of started to fall in place. And so the 4-part framework was born. It's called the 4 Ps. And this is what's super important to understand and where you need to be focusing and where you need to make sure your business aligns with. First piece is purpose, which is totally the same thing as intention, right? We need to know why our business exists. What is the branding message we're giving out to people? How are we marketing that message? What is the reason we are showing up? How does that affect our team? How does that affect our community? How does that affect our life? When we know that, we can start creating the processes and the system for our business to achieve what our purpose is. And then as you're showing up, the process is going to be strategy. As you're showing up to execute, which equals productivity, you are going to hopefully be better and better at achieving these activities you need to do every single day, as well as your team be more efficient, streamlined, and slowly start to take yourself out of the equation of your business, which then will equal results, which is your profit. The profit in your business is the reason why we run this business. We don't want to just be a charity case. We want to be able to make money. Okay, so throughout the rest of this week, we're going to be going over almost all of these. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit less on purpose because I feel like you guys know this, but if you are a client of Agency by Design or maybe want to find out more about that, we dive really deep into the purpose in the beginning, because again, I can't help you as a business strategist and consultant to figure out the rest of the pieces if we don't really understand what it is that we want, where we're going, and why it matters. Okay, so today, what we're going to dive into is we're going to start talking about the different stages of being a CEO. Okay, and I know you guys are going to identify this. After we go through this, I'm going to ask you to let me know what stage you feel like you are in. The first stage is the doing. Okay, and the doing phase is all about you're doing all the daily activities in your business operations. Okay, the stage is about identifying the tasks that are essential to running your business and doing them yourself. So in this stage, you are the one performing tasks and making decisions. Okay. The next stage is going to be deciding. So in the deciding phase, you have help, right? But they can't really fully do anything without you. You begin to try to delegate these tasks to others. However, you are still making the decisions and overseeing the work. And you really need to focus on training your team to handle these tasks effectively and efficiently. Okay. How many of you, let us know in the chat, have a team, and let us know how many people are on your team? How many people do you have on your team? 9. Whoa. Hey, 3, 2, 6. All I see is Cat City's pictures on the screen. Should be some. Yes, you should be able to see a presentation. I'm not sure why you're not seeing that. Maybe leave the chat, Mandy, and come right back, and hopefully it'll pull up for you, and I'll make sure to admit you.
Cassidy, your screen is definitely just still on your first slide.
What? Okay, let me.
The whole time.
Wow. That's not going to work. Okay, let me go back to sharing my screen again. Thank you for letting me know. You know, like I said, technology, okay, like it happens. Okay. Do you guys see this now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let me go back, show you a little bit about what we were talking about. Okay, so I want you to be on live, use your workbook, do your action work, ask for support from Felisa, and make sure you participate in the giveaway. First thing we're going to go over is the stages of CEO. This is why Sharon was asking about the formula. Makes sense. This is the formula: intention plus strategy plus execution equals results. And the 4 Ps of our Agency by Design framework. If you want to screenshot this, you can. We can also put it in the chat for you. Give you a second to do that real quick. Perfect, perfect. I'm glad you guys are seeing it. All right. For the rest of the week, if something's not working, please let me know, because I will just go off on a tangent and I want to make sure you guys are getting us, okay? So we'll go back real quick. Doing. This is the pyramid. You're going to start with doing, deciding, and delegating, and designing. So if you are in the doing phase, you're doing all the things, right? The deciding phase, you have help, but they can't really do anything without you, okay? Now, what does that look like? you're doing all the things, especially those of you that are just a one-person show, or maybe you have some help, you're still doing a lot of the things in your business. You're still in the everyday, like, thick of it, right? Let's say you hire somebody and you're like, I really need help. Now you've hired them and they're helping you, and there's some tasks that they have assigned to them that they need to be doing on a regular basis, but they're knocking on your door, they're texting you, they're emailing you, they're calling you. They can't really do this on their own without you, and you're still overseeing a lot of the daily activities. Or maybe you're doing it with them, or you're rescuing them and feeling like, okay, I might as well just do it myself. Now, here's where a lot of you get stuck. A lot of you get stuck in hiring some people, not having the intention, not having the processes, and you want them to just start taking action, right? And you're feeling like, great, I got to train this person, and now I'm spending double the amount of hours I was before than when I was just doing it. And you start getting resentful, and you start feeling like, this is ridiculous. I'm wasting my payroll. I'm wasting revenue. I might as well just do it myself. And so you let people go. And then you go back to doing, and you get stuck in this doing all of a sudden, like, God, I really need some help. I need to hire somebody. And then you go and hire somebody else. How many of you have gone through this? How many of you have had team member turnover because you feel like, I might as well just do it myself, or you don't feel like they're doing what you hired them to be doing? I know I'm not alone. But I told you how many people I went through in the beginning. Right? Okay. Well, let's talk about what the next phase kind of looks like, so you can see how you can move through this. Okay. The next phase is going to be your delegation phase. Let me make sure I got it. Okay. So delegation is the stage that you begin to trust your team to handle tasks independently. You delegate tasks and decisions to them, but you still oversee some of their work. You still are kind of there to provide guidance as needed, right? Your team is doing a lot of the daily operations, and you're able to successfully delegate, but you are still trying to teach them the ownership phase, right? And there's still things that you're doing. Okay. So maybe you've got a team that's great. Maybe they know what they need to be doing. Maybe they're doing the things that they need to be doing, but you're still kind of managing the day-to-day things, spot checking them, making sure that they are using you if they need to. You are still kind of their top resource for being able to get through issues and problems and challenges that come up, right? They're still looking to you constantly. All right. Now, a lot of you might be doing a great job in the delegation phase. And what's great about that is that now you can start focusing on how do you get out of that delegation phase. Okay. The last stage, which is the stage that I am in, and I had to go through all of these. So if you are someone who's stuck in another phase, it's okay. We're going to teach you some ways to get through this. But in this stage, you've built a team that can operate independently, meaning without you. And you get to focus on designing and refining systems and processes that allow your team to handle tasks without your direct involvement. Okay. So you can then focus on not developing new products, but maybe like getting new carriers and contracts, figuring out how to add on more product lines. You basically can start plugging in more things to scale your business because you have that strong foundation, and you can focus on how to scale and how to do some other things. So you are officially free at this point, and your team is working on taking care of the business the way you want them to. That's a huge piece that's really important. We don't just want to bring people on and let them kind of do their thing. For a really long time, I was really proud of my team and saying, hey, like, they're going to do their thing their way because I want to give them that autonomy and I want them to feel comfortable and confident. But the thing is they want boundaries. They want instructions. They want to know how you want it done so that they can show up and execute and fulfill that. And as you start deciding what that looks like and you see that they're bringing in results, you can give them a little bit more freedom to kind of do it their own way. The people that I have on my team are very different. They do things a little bit differently, but at the end of the day, they're following certain processes that are really important to us in our agency, and everybody's following the same steps. And they can have a different personality when they show up to do that. They can be working on different types of prospects. They can be focused on different types of products. doesn't matter as long as they're bringing in the results. And in this phase, you went from delegating to designing. The delegating phase, what's really important there is you start giving them the space and the understanding that they have ownership of their position that they're playing within your agency. They need to take ownership in the results that they're bringing into your business. And they start to become little micro business owners within your agency. Right? There are parts and pieces of things that they are responsible for. And they also have the space and freedom to still make mistakes, but to fix their mistakes. And you are here to kind of be their support system and maybe that safety net. But at the end of the day, instead of solving these issues for them and kind of micromanaging in a lot of ways, you're able to say, hey, here's some resources, go figure out the answer. Come back to me when you've come up with some ideas and how we can work through this, right? And you give them the space to still make mistakes, but eventually they're going to learn and they're going to see how it needs to be done in the future, right? And so now you're able to focus your time and energy in scaling and moving on to the next phase of your business and how you want to continue to have it grow. So let us know in the chat now that we've gone through all of these. What phase are you in? Where do you feel like you are in the phases of and stages of being a CEO in your agency right now? Okay, so what I'd like to do for some of the rest of the time that we have, and we're not going to have this much time every single day. Tomorrow, we're really diving into how to move from doing, deciding, delegating, all of that. And then the next day, we'll move on to another piece. So I think this is really going to be an eye opener for you and give you the next steps that you need to take in your business to really move through these stages. But I'd love to open the floor to speak to some of you, whoever is brave enough, and you all should be brave souls. And if you're going to chat, please turn on your camera so we can see you and hear you. But I want to know who wants some help in figuring out where exactly they're at. Maybe some of you aren't sure. Let us know. And what you can do is go down and just raise your hand in the chat. Or if you want to just post in the chat, you know, that you want to kind of have a conversation. So let us know who is willing and able to come on and kind of strategize it out with us. I hear someone. Did somebody unmute?
Yeah, I did. I'm just trying to figure out how to get my camera on.
Who is that?
This is Diane.
Hi, Diane. Hello. Okay, sorry. I can't see all the cameras right now. I have too many things on my screen. So, okay, we'll start with Diane. Then I think we have Heather and CC coming up. If anybody else wants to come up, let us know. We will do the best we can to reach as many people as possible today. But hi, Diane. Talk to me, girl. What's going on in your agency right now?
So yeah, I have 3 people and I do delegate a lot and they're handling renewals and new policies and that kind of thing. But what my issue is I'm paying out more than what they're bringing in. You know, they have quotas and kind of thing, but they're like, oh, the market is hard and that kind of thing. So, and I'm just trying to, you know, either I have to lay them off so that we can at least break even, or, you know, I've got to do something different.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Do you know in their positions that they're playing, whether it's service, sales, etc., do you know what results you need them to bring in for them to cover their seat so that they're not having you lose money?
Correct. Yes, I do.
Okay, perfect. Have you had a conversation with them on the results that they need to be bringing in?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And what's the feedback that you get?
You know, we're quoting, but either it's too high or, you know, the carriers want a larger down payment right now. And, you know, we've been trying, but, you know, we just can't hit those marks.
Okay. And how are you tracking their activity?
Through spreadsheets, you know, also in our agent management system, you know, they send me how many quotes they've done, you know, how many have closed. what the premiums are. So I'm doing a lot of tracking, but
What are you finding when you're going back to review some of the analytics and some of the tracking?
that they're doing a lot of quotes, but not closing a lot of business.
Okay, are you tracking what kind of business they're quoting and where they're coming from?
Yes.
Cool. What I want you to do is I want you to go back today, hopefully if you can, if not sometime this week. And I want you to go back and look at which business you are closing. Where is this business coming from? And then tell me a little bit about, are you doing personal lines, commercial? What type of niche are you in, if any?
Yeah, I do. We do half and half. I have two people doing personal lines, one person is doing commercial. And it seems like most of our business right now is coming from our commercial,
Okay.
not so much the personal lines.
Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to go back and see how many quotes you're doing in personal lines, how many you're doing in commercial, what business you're closing. And the reason I'm asking this is because, we can all say the market's hard. We can all say that there's some struggles and challenges we have. We all have these challenges and we all have these struggles, but there's a lot of agents that are getting through these challenges and these struggles. And honestly, for us, what it was is we started tracking a lot. And like you said, you're tracking great. I want you to go back and analyze this data. And I want you to figure out, is there better business that you can start going after? We can fix your branding. We can talk about your marketing. We can talk about your networking. Like, how do we get the right business through the door so that you are converting at a higher rate? And where are you located?
I'm in Lancaster.
California.
Yes, California.
Okay. So I understand that California is a whole nother animal. I totally get it. But there are agents and agencies. I mean, we're still writing in California as well. So there are ways to get around it. Our business, I don't know how long you've been in this industry, but our business is very cyclical. Things go up and down all the time. And as a CEO, we have to figure out where the money is and how do we go after that money. But also, I want you to, how many people do you have in your agency again?
3.
And what are their roles?
I've got one that does personal lines, auto. I've got one that does home, and then one that does commercial.
Okay, so you kind of have specialized your team into different product lines?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to go back and kind of analyze a little bit about how many quotes are they doing, where are the quotes coming from, how much business did they actually sell, and see if you can see any information there that could help you maybe shift the way you guys are getting your business and what carriers you're working with and how all of that's going. Because first we want to take a step back and look at, am I really supporting my team? Are they really getting the leads that they need for us to be making money? If the answer is yes, then maybe there's some other things we have to do with our team, whether that's give them more training, maybe that's working on some sales skills, maybe that's more lead flow, maybe you need more lead flow. You might think to yourself, okay, I have quite a bit of leads, but it might just not be enough to convert right now. Okay, so I want you to go back and kind of look at that. And I'd love to hear what you find out or what you see tomorrow or the next day. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Heather, you're up next. If you can unmute.
Hello.
On camera. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Cool. All right. Tell me what's going on in your agency. Give us a little bit of background.
So big background, we used to own a franchise, wasn't happening. Things were getting canceled. So we dropped that and we opened up our very own. I'm pretty much the only producer we have. We have producers on the team, but they just don't produce. But just myself alone, I bring in 40 to 80 quotes a day. So I have a whole team that just quotes, produces, and then I have 2 service team ladies. But my problem is I cannot hire help. I have the work. Work isn't the issue. It's to find help. I'm in Florida. It is difficult. People are like, oh, it's so hard, but it's not. Like once you realize what you're doing. But mine is I'm stuck. And this is funny that you put this little pyramid because we owned a business before and I got stuck here again and I just got fed up and sold it. But I'm stuck doing and deciding I can't move on.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about why you feel like you got stuck doing. Is it you are maybe, okay, I'm going to give you a love shove, guys. Okay. So when we're talking or we're going through things, I'm going to bring some awareness only because of my own experience. Okay. is it possible that you may need to increase the skills that you have, the process that you have, the way you're attracting the right type of people to work for you in the hiring and recruiting process? Or possibly, is it your onboarding process, meaning the training, the support, the expectation, the accountability, that type of thing?
So I think my training's not up to stuff. I'll tell you that right now, because I'm so busy. I don't have the time to hold their hand, but I do spend 2 whole weeks with them. We have a Bible, like everything. The Bible has a procedure for everything. If someone calls and says this, it's in there. You can find it. You can tell you exactly what to say back. But getting the ladies to follow that too, they'll constantly ask me questions. And then we have all of our guidelines on a Google share. You click American Integrity, it'll tell you right there what it is. Don't ask me, go there. And I push them towards that because I don't want them to constantly feel like they can depend on me, which they can, but at the same time, you need to grow yourself. But with help, I've hired an agency to hire people. I put it on Facebook. I've done Indeed. I've done everything. I was paying $500 a month trying to hire people.
Okay. So what I found when I was going through all of this, the reason why I wasn't finding good people is because I didn't do enough of the work in the purpose phase. And I know that sounds very woo-woo and like manifestation and all of these things. But if I couldn't clearly communicate to my team what was important, why we were here, where we were going, they couldn't kind of buy into that and have the passion and excitement that I have to push through all these things and really try to find solutions for themselves. And then what does that look like for them when they're able to achieve these things? Do they make more money? Are they able to scale? What does that look like for their life? So I started diving a lot deeper into my relationship with my team and asking them, what do you want to achieve? What's important to you? Like making it more about them and how do we use the business as a vehicle to give them the things they want, where that way it's not just like a spotlight on you and your business and they just happen to work there. Okay. And that's also how we recruit and hire people. We make sure we find out more about their characteristics than necessarily their skills. Traits and things that we can't train, like how to be loyal, how to show up on time, how to be someone who's trustworthy, how to be someone who's organized. Like we can teach some of that stuff, but we can't always teach them. We can teach them computer software. We can teach them product knowledge, right? And so when we put out a job listing, it tells a story about our agency and tells a story about who we are and where we're going and why we want and the type of people we want to be a part of it. And so when we're getting applicants and candidates, we are getting people who understand and are buying into that before we ever interview them. Okay. So some of the stuff I feel like might change for you, because that's what helped me, was really working on that purpose piece and that intention piece, and not so much on the processes. Because if you've got the processes and they have a place they need to be going, there's accountability there, but I was micromanaging a lot. I was frustrated. People could see it on my face and the energy just sucked. Okay. And so that really hinders people from being able to show up and, execute and have a good time and really make sure that the things that they're doing on a daily basis is going to be a trajectory to where they want to go themselves. There is a saying, no one's ever going to work as hard on your business as you are as the business owner. And I honestly 100% believe that is not true, because I have people who care more about my business than I feel like I do. And the reason why is because they know what it's going to do for their life. They understand where it is that we're going. And they also have somebody there who's supporting them, stays true to my word, who, is lifting them up in a lot of ways. And that's where I had to shift from micromanaging too much to really being able to say, hey, we're a team, let's do this together. And then have the processes and the training and the onboarding to make sure that it's very clear what we do. We also had something we called the OB. It was called the Office Bible. It was how we do everything we do. We call it something else now, but same idea, right? But if we don't understand why we're doing each of those pieces and how it affects our own personal lives selfishly, it's going to be very hard to show up and execute on those things. So I feel like that's a little bit of a piece that you're missing, and we'll get more into that through the rest of the week. So, okay, let's see. Cece. Oh, you're on mute. I see you.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. So my concern is I do hire agents, and they'll come in, they'll get contracted, they'll do a little work, and then eventually they stop.
Okay.
And I'm doing this over and over and over. And I'm doing all the processing. I'm able to, close sales, this and that. I train them. I help them get contracted. They get contracted. They do a little. And then with our company, you have to buy leads, or you can do your warm market. And they don't last that long. So that's where I'm at. And it's repeating. It's a repeated cycle.
Yep, I get it. Where would you say they're falling off?
The leads. They don't have any money to buy leads, or they're not committed as well too. They don't really be on the trainings. They don't be on the calls. So they're not as much committed or loyal to the process.
Yeah. Are these independent contractors?
Yes.
Okay. How are you recruiting them?
Either across the table from an appointment, or I go into the agent's database per state and I'll call and recruit them that way.
Okay. Let's just say I'm someone who you want to recruit. Talk to me about how you're presenting this opportunity.
Okay. Hi, Cassidy. My name is Cece. So are you open to earn extra income?
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay. So are you open to earn an extra income on a part-time basis? And they will say either yay or nay. And, and then we go from there. If they say yes, then we'll go from that point. We'll get them the course. They do the course. They'll pass the state exam. They get contracted. But then it's when you have to buy, they don't have money to buy leads, and I would even give them leads. And sometimes they'll call and sometimes they don't.
Okay. So everyone that's participating, some of the, people are feeling your pain, Heather's pain, Diane's pain. I get it. Tell me what you feel like was missing from there. And this is not
I would even ask them their goals, because I don't want my goals to be their goals, but what is your goals? Is it 2,000 a month? Is it 5,000? Okay, let's work together and get there. And is they have a why, they need, and income. That would be their why.
It's not. I promise. It's not their why, because you're not here just to make an income. There's something you're
right.
Right. Okay. So, purpose. Cool. All right. I just want to get some feedback. This is not to come down on you. It's to use the collective of this group to help you.
Yeah, I'm writing it down. So they why and they purpose.
Yeah. But also you're giving them, so you're immediately saying, hey, you want more money, right? Like, who's going to say no to that?
So I'm asking, are you looking for opportunity to earn extra income?
Right. Okay. I don't know how many people are going to probably say no unless they're making really good money. Even I would say yes if you asked that question. I got 5 businesses, right? Like, who doesn't want more money? Where I feel like a little bit is missing is also setting up the expectation of what this is going to take. What does it look like? What are they going to, be doing on a daily basis? What's expected of them? Because when I'm interviewing and when I offer a position, or when we're going through this, I lay out what their day is going to look like. What are the things that I want them to be responsible for? What are the results that they're supposed to be bringing? One, I do have independent contractors, but that's going to work a little bit more when it comes to in-house employees, right? Because you can kind of manage them and tell them what to do more than an independent contractor. But letting them know and showing them what someone who is successful in this and making that kind of money looks like. So if someone's like, oh man, I'm gonna have to pay for my own leads, then they shouldn't be someone and they don't want to do that, or they don't have the funds to do that. They shouldn't be someone you're wasting your time on. Just don't even go there. Go on to the next person. There's plenty of people in the world that will do the work. I feel like you're spending too much time in trying to convince them, training them, and then suddenly they're showing up and they're like, oh shit.
Right.
Right. And I don't want you to waste your time training, and I don't want you to do all this work and then suddenly you're like, this wasn't the right person. They're not doing what it actually takes. Well, they may not have known what it actually takes from day one. Okay. Bringing on some successful people that have done this onto a call or onto a Zoom, or maybe having them also do some interviewing for you to be another filter to see what they think. Every single person I hire also has an interview with my team, because my team is successful and they know what it's going to take. They understand the personality that's needed. They understand the motivation that's needed. Also too, because my team's gonna have to work with this person, I need to make sure the vibe's gonna work. We have someone on our team that I call the prey mantis. And I always say, if this person isn't vibing with you, they're gonna eat you alive. They will make sure you're not here, right? And then when I also offer a position to someone, whether it's a contracted position or not, I let them know what results I'm expecting from them within 90 days. I make it very, very clear. You are in a 90-day probation period. If you do not hit these results by day 90, don't show up on day 91. We make the expectation so clear that they aren't even surprised if they get let go, or that I don't spend my energy, or that I'm not showing up anymore, right? You can set those expectations.
Okay.
Try that and
Yes.
see if you start having different results, because I'd rather have 5 really good independent contractors or employees that are producing what 20 could than having 20 who I'm wasting my time on.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kelly says, have you tried recruiting from hospitality businesses? You may find someone who can multitask. Yeah. So maybe also figuring out different places, like, are you going after certain areas to recruit people, certain types of people that you're looking to recruit? There's something in your branding that I call the ideal client avatar. So sometimes we have 2 of those, sometimes we have 3, sometimes we have 5, but usually it's going to be different between where we're selling products. So who's your ideal client for when you're selling whatever you sell, and who's your ideal client for who you want to work with, right? So for me, when I look for employees, I'm looking for things that are very specific to that ideal client, that ideal candidate, let's say, instead, that I've seen them have success before, they have results. Their why is very powerful. They, have certain characteristics that I ask questions to. And in Agency by Design, we do go through my entire process, the questions you ask during an interview, what you post in a job listing, your position contract that you talk to them about, how to be very clear, your onboarding process. I mean, all the different things, but I think that's the one piece that you're missing. Let's go after the ones that are successful. The ones that you have that are successful, find out a little bit more about them, or just brainstorm and write down, like, what do you think they have that makes them good at what they do? Or even if you don't have any yet, for everybody else, find employees of other people or people you've worked with in the past that you're like, I know this person's successful. What characteristic traits do they have? Right? And then how do you go find people that are similar to that?
Okay.
Okay. Heather was asking CC if you want to reply to her in the chat. Where do you find a list of agents?
Yes.
Okay. Who else wanted to have a conversation that we missed? We've got about 5 more minutes, and then I want to be respectful of your time as well as mine. And tomorrow while I'm finding out who wants to chat, make sure I didn't miss anybody. Tomorrow, we're going to be diving into how do we start creating this system in this process. So some of you may already have a process, some of you may already have a system, but we want to make sure again that we're able to make sure it's efficient. And how do we do that? Let's see. Okay, Linda, you raised your hand. Go ahead and unmute and get on camera if you can.
Hello, everybody. I currently feel like I'm in between deciding and delegating. So I have a staff here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I have
We
2.
lost you for a second.
Oh, okay. I have 2 agents in office. They're fully licensed, and I kind of have them doing, one focuses more on service and retention, calling people for payments, stuff like. The other one is a little more sales based, but I want to kind of move them up. So I feel like, and they're really good. They're on time. They are, they're trustworthy. I definitely feel comfortable during the time that I'm away from the office and in that sense, but I want to help them grow. So then that way they can scale up. I can bring new people to do, the other stuff. And then I can maybe focus more on marketing and creating, more stuff. And I am also in California. So our personal lines market right now is, non-existent. And I'm moving in the direction that you had suggested in regards to other products, other states, just, trying to really open up our mindset in creating revenue for all of us, right? So collectively bringing them in, taking their ideas, applying for their licenses and other appointments in other states. So, but just kind of, yeah.
All right, so if I was to ask you, what does the next, level for your team look like? Do you know?
So management for one, and then sales for the other, and then hiring someone to take care of the retention and the service.
Okay, so maybe shifting your organizational chart just a little bit and trying to grow your team.
Correct.
One of the things that I do and have done for a really long time to find out what we need to do, it's two parts. One, is your team at capacity? And capacity for me is 120%. That means they're doing 120% more than what their title or their role should be, and they're feeling burnt out. And right when they get to 120, they're like, hey, we really need to hire somebody. Or if you want me to achieve these results, I got to get some of this stuff off my plate. First thing I do is I say, okay, tell me what you do every day. I analyze and I time audit them on what they're doing, because maybe, which has worked before, we can get them more productive. And we're going to talk about this on Thursday. So just kind of hang on and stick with me, but we can get them more productive. We can automate some things. We can delegate some things. We can shift some things around. And many times I've found I can get them back down to 80% capacity of their time and their energy and their effort. And then I can say, great, here's the next thing that I need you to put on your plate. And here's how you're going to get compensated for that. And this is what that looks like. If they're at 120, we can't get down, it's time to hire somebody. I ask the team member, list me the things you like to be doing and you want to be doing more of, or that you need to be doing more of to make more money. And tell me the shit you don't want to be doing anymore that clogs up your time and is kind of a bottleneck for you to bring in the results that you want to be bringing in. Right. But we always loop it back around to how is that going to impact their life and how does it make it better for them? They're going to make more money. They're going to have more time off. They're not going to be as stressed. They're going to be able to do things more efficiently. The office is going to run better. We're going to have more retention. Is there a retention bonus? Like, right. How do we then give that to them? And also when you're looking to hire more people, we want to make sure that we take the things off their plate that you have right now, put it onto somebody else's plate that you're bringing in, enough to where we're going to make enough profit at that point with that extra time and energy so that the person we're hiring on, we're going to have the profit and the money to pay for them, right? My team knows we do not hire anybody else on unless they can then have the time and energy to produce better results so that we can afford to hire somebody else. My profit margin is my number one priority as the designer now. And I want to make sure that that profit margin doesn't get worse. I only want it to get better, right? And so we've got to make sure we're shifting that around. So think about that, go back to your team, talk to them and find out what things they feel like that if they didn't have to do anymore, they could actually pay more attention to things that are going to move the needle, income producing, and hopefully making more money and afford to keep scaling your team. And then you'll have more freedom, hopefully, to be able to find those contracts, get into those states, figure out who your ideal client is now that the industry and market is shifting a bit, right? Finding the solutions instead of just saying our market is hard, right? Okay. Did that answer your question just to get started on something? Okay, awesome. All right, guys, it is 12 o'clock. I hope all of you can make it tomorrow. This right here on the screen, hopefully you can see the action work. Let me know if you don't see it, right? This is how you enter the giveaway. So today, I want you to get clarity on what stage you're in. You guys kind of did that today, but I want you to find out what stage you're in and maybe some ideas on how you can move into the next stage. Also, I'm going to stop sharing my screen in a minute so that you guys can take a screenshot. This is how you enter the giveaway. You're going to take a screenshot and you're going to tag us on social. Those are the handles. If you look up my name, you'll be able to find it. Also, if you're part of the female insurance agency Facebook group, I know not everybody is a part of it. That's fine. If you're a woman and you're not a part of it, please request to be a part of it. We will let you in because we do a lot of different things in there as well. But share the thing that we're going to have a post in there for your action work. Share what you're working on. For those of you that are not in the Facebook group, you can also share this and DM me on Instagram. That'll also get you another point to get you into the running for the giveaway. And then tomorrow we will see you. It says 1 p.m. It's supposed to say 11 a.m. So sorry for that typo. But I am going to stop sharing right now. Also, we are keeping track of who has their cameras on, who's showing up every single day, who's participating in the chat. That's giving you more and more points to get into the giveaway. So for those of you that are interested, turn your cameras on even for a second. Oh, who's Bill? I know you're driving. Don't look at us, sir. Okay, turn your cameras on. We're going to take a quick screenshot and say hi. Hey, everyone. Okay. Make sure you tag us and post it. Don't be afraid to go on social and tell people that you are showing up to become a better business owner. You're doing trainings. You want to learn more things so that you can be the best possible agency owner out there. And that's going to help benefit your community because they're picking you. They're choosing you to do business with, right? There's something about that authority. It doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. It doesn't mean that you're not the best. It means that you are continuing your education, you're showing up, and that's the kind of person I would want to work with, right? So don't be afraid to share that. Tomorrow, we're going to be diving into how to create processes, how to go from doing to deciding to delegating, all of that. And we're going to get very micro. I also have a list of all the things your agency is probably doing. So if you don't want to sit here and brainstorm about every little thing your business is doing, I have lists for you so that we can start figuring out where we need to create processes, who we might need to hire to help us in this business, how to maybe move around that organizational chart, just like Linda was talking about a little bit. For those of you that are one-person shows, who's the next person you need to hire so you can get rid of doing some of the things that you're doing so that you have the time to keep scaling and moving through those stages. All right. You have any other questions, please let us know. Tony, I'm pretty sure you're in the Facebook group, but
Hello.
It's called
Cassidy.
I'm just taking a class.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Hey, Cassidy, we do have one question from Cece. If you scroll up just a little bit.
Sure. What was the question? Will you just tell me? Because I have a lot.
Are you all referring to employees as independent contractors, or are they W-2 employees doing what you do not have time to do?
Yep. Let us know in the chat who's doing one or the other, or do you have a mix? So independent contractors are going to be 1099s. They're not working in your office typically. I have some in other states. They are commission-based only, and they don't work in our office per se. W-2 employees are going to be the ones working in your agency. Some of them may be remote, that's fine, but they're getting a paycheck. You're taking out taxes and all of that stuff, right? They're getting an hourly or a salary base. And so they're not just commission only. So hopefully that helps figure that out. Bill, I know you missed a little bit. You will be getting the replay, so you can watch this again later and get some of the stuff. Let's see. Kelly said, I started with 1099, but moved to a full-time W-2 as soon as I could afford it. Best move I've made. I love it. I'd love to hear more the rest of this week, Kelly, about how that changed your business. Rena said she's getting ready to use a VA. I am going to be talking about VAs the rest of this week and how we've automated, delegated, deleted some things that we've done to make us more efficient too. Okay, perfect. Lots of W-2s, some are 1099s, CSRs are W-2. Yeah, there's no right or wrong way to structure your business, guys, okay? Don't be afraid to try different things. But again, as long as you're working first with intention and then strategy to make the decisions that you want to be making, it's so important to go back and start from the beginning a little bit. The other thing that I would say is, I lost my train of thought. Something about doing it your way, but we'll get back to that the rest of this week. Okay. Yeah, we'll be talking about my VA experience as well, so I can share kind of behind the scenes of that. I know somebody at the event was asking me about VAs, and this is something recent that I've done, so I'd love to share my feedback on that. Yep. Let's see. Bernie's talking about, or Sharon asked about who you're using for VAs and what do you have them doing. I'm going to be sharing that tomorrow and Wednesday, I believe. So definitely come back. Okay, I will see you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. You will be getting the recording, so look out for emails, etc. If you have any questions, you can always email me. You can DM me on Instagram, Facebook, what have you. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope I was able to provide some value. And yeah, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.